Hello, and welcome to the open house for Computer and Network Security Fundamentals. My name is Jake Schweik, and I'm the Business and Cybersecurity teacher here at Melbourne High School. The Computer and Network Security Fundamentals course is a basic introduction to cybersecurity. We have a specific emphasis on computer and networking skills, so we're talking primarily about the hardware involved in transmitting data through a network. The required certification for this is the Microsoft Technology Associate Networking Fundamentals certification. There's some other certifications that will be available to the students, but the big optional certification that I like to point out is the CompTIA Network Plus certification. If the students complete all of the MTA certifications and score high enough on the practice test, I'll give them a voucher to the CompTIA Network Plus certification. The classroom format that we use for this course is a blended learning model, and what that means is that the students will participate in-class instruction, and so through discussion and presentations, and then also there will be a online digital component as well. We use Microsoft Teams in my class, and for those of you not familiar with that, Microsoft Teams is the Microsoft equivalent of Google Classroom. We also will use something called LearnKey, which has video lessons for the students. One significant portion of my grading policy that I want to point out is the weekly participation. So every week, students get 50 points of a 50-point participation grade, and they start the week out with the 50 points, which it works out of essentially approximately to 10 points per day. And then the students, based on their actions, they will either maintain all of those points, or they may have some deductions for various reasons. Deductions for participation points would come for not participating in classroom discussions and activities, possibly for not turning in assignments, and also if they're consistently leaving their work area in disarray and making it difficult for students following them, that could also result in deduction of participation points. Late assignments, my policy is that I do not accept late assignments for credit. The exception being that students can turn in late assignments with something called a fix-it ticket. And they can do this up to 5 times each grading period. And what a fix-it ticket is it's a document that they're going to print out, and they're going to fill it out so they're going to put their name, the name of the assignment, when the assignment was due, when the assignment was turned in, the reason it was late, and then they're going to sign it, and they're going to have you sign it, and then they're going to turn it in to me. And the reason I handle late assignments this way is I found that if I have a blanket late assignment policy, there are students that tend to abuse that, and they'll just habitually turn work in late. And the problem with that is that a lot of the content that we cover in this course, it's going to build on top of the information that we learned previously. And so if the students are consistently working behind pace, it becomes very difficult for them to complete the course successfully. So I use this as a way to kind of keep them on pace, but also I realize that situations do come up. There are times where they're just not going to be able to get the assignment in on time, and so we have the fix-it ticket as a way to kind of deal with those types of situations. The fix-it ticket also, instead of them just turning in assignments late and getting a portion of the grade, this requires them to have a conversation with you about why they're turning in their assignments late, which gives them a little bit more accountability. Participation, my expectations for the students each day is that they check the lesson plans and deadlines that I've maintained. And these are going to be found on planbook.com. That's an online lesson plan platform that I use. And so they can access that directly through Planbook, or most likely what they're going to do is access this through a tab in Microsoft Teams. Additionally, I want them to check Microsoft Teams every day. There may be some announcements or information that I will share with them through our team. I also require them to complete any assigned tasks and then engage in any in-class discussions. The certifications that they'll be working on, as I said before, the MTA Networking Fundamentals is the required certification for this course. They will have a maximum of 3 attempts at that certification. They also will have access to the MTA Mobility and Device Fundamentals, the MTA Windows Operating System Fundamentals, and the MTA Windows Server Administration Fundamentals certifications. And then if they pass all of those certifications and get a high enough score on the practice test, I will give them a voucher for the CompTIA Network Plus certification. Discipline in my classroom, the way we handle this is if a student engages in activities that are inappropriate, they'll first get a warning. If they continue to engage in that activity, then I will contact their parents, and that could also result in a loss of class privileges tied to that tied to their actions and behavior. And if they continue beyond that, then it will result in a disciplinary referral. Electronics, I don't tend to have too many problems with electronics. I do allow students to have their personal devices in the classroom as long as they're not used in a way that disrupts their learning or the learning of other students around them. We use computers in my classroom. This is a computer lab. And I do ask that they not use the computers for online gaming. And the reason being is a lot of times the free games that the students like to use when they have free time, those tend to open up the possibility of malicious software being downloaded on the computers unintentionally and sometimes even unknowingly. But that software can cause a lot of problems on my computers as well as potentially the school network. And so I do ask students to refrain from that activity. Because of the overall school policy regarding electronics at Melbourne High School, if the student is engaging in improper use of electronics, it's actually a much shorter disciplinary ladder. And what that means is if they're doing something with their phone or the computer that they shouldn't be doing, they'll get a warning. If they continue doing it, it will result directly in a disciplinary referral. If you have any questions or comments, I encourage you to email me. My email is schweik.jacob@brevardschools.org, and that is definitely the best way to get a hold of me. I thank you so much for watching this presentation, and I hope you have a great evening.